In a bold move that shakes the foundations of international relations, South Africa sanctions the U.S. for pressuring it to ban China's Huawei. What does this mean for global autonomy and technological choices? Stick around to find out. Consider, for a moment, the dark depths to which international politics can descend and the strategic games that nations play to secure victory at any cost. Imagine a superpower so fixated on technological supremacy that it exerts immense pressure on other sovereign nations, coercing them into following its directives and isolating companies it perceives as rivals. This narrative mirrors the ongoing saga of the United States and its relentless campaign to undermine China's Huawei, a tale of influence, intrigue, and perhaps overreach. Today, we convene here to dissect the intricate web of relations that bind South Africa, the U.S., and Huawei. This analysis is not confined to international diplomacy. It is an exploration into how one nation's obsession can exert tremendous pressure on others, compelling them to conform to its will. The United States, in its relentless pursuit of technological dominance, views Huawei as a significant threat, a company offering cutting-edge technology at competitive prices, which could potentially disrupt the monopoly that the West seeks to establish. The U.S. has not hesitated to pressure its allies, including European nations such as the UK, into banning Huawei. Many of these nations have succumbed to this pressure. However, when the U.S. turned its attention to South Africa, pressuring it to suspend all Huawei operations within its borders, they encountered a nation that refused to yield. South Africa, a member of BRICS, an economic alliance aimed at challenging the dominance of the G7, demonstrated to the world that it would not be a pawn in the hands of Western powers. South Africa's ambassador to BRICS, Anil Sulklal, reiterated this stance, underscoring South Africa's commitment to charting its own course. Now let's pause and ponder. What motivates a nation like the United States to compel other countries to sever ties with a particular company? Is it merely paranoia, or does it serve as an extension of a grand strategy to maintain technological hegemony? The answer lies in a two-pronged approach. First, it stems from the fear of losing control over the global tech market. Second, it involves using fear as a tool to manipulate other nations into aligning with its interests. The cases of Finland and Sweden, which hesitated to join NATO until the U.S. exploited their fear of Russia, serve as examples. The U.S. has adeptly employed fear as a weapon to shape international policies. However, in the case of South Africa, they may have met their match. South Africa's relationship with China runs deep. China is South Africa's largest trading partner, and their bond extends beyond economics. Huawei has played a pivotal role in South Africa's technological progress by aiding in digitalizing its economy and connecting it to the world. Banning Huawei is not merely a commercial decision. It is an affront to a partnership built on mutual respect. In stark contrast, Western powers have failed to make meaningful contributions to Africa's development, preferring instead to monopolize technology and isolate nations that do not conform. This policy reflects an underlying arrogance, one that assumes that all nations must align with the U.S. The U.S. must realize that it cannot fight its battles through proxies. Huawei's integration into South Africa's technological landscape cannot be undone with mere threats or political posturing. President Cyril Ramaphosa's warm embrace of Huawei and acknowledgement of its role in driving the fourth industrial revolution in South Africa demonstrate the nation's commitment to its own path. South Africa's resolute stance signals a changing global landscape where nations are starting to question the dictates of traditional superpowers. They are forging their own paths and seeking allies based on mutual respect rather than domination. Are we witnessing a seismic shift in global politics, where nations can openly defy the whims of traditional superpowers without facing consequences? The U.S. waning influence and propaganda in Africa may indicate a world that is gradually awakening to the importance of self-determination, trust, and respect. Huawei's decision to centralize its European operations in Düsseldorf carries profound implications. It is not just a relocation. It signifies a strategic shift resonating across international politics, trade relations, and technological advancements. We must delve deeper into the complex web of international relations and consider a critical question. Why has the U.S. campaign against Huawei gained so much traction, and what does it mean for the world at large? The U.S. has a long history of influencing global policies, bending them to align with its interests, values, or fears. In the realm of technological advancements, we have witnessed the U.S. employ a combination of political pressure, economic threats, and strategic narratives to advance its agenda. In the case of Huawei, these tactics have been wielded with ferocity, alarming those who champion principles of fair competition, sovereignty, and innovation. South Africa's resistance to U.S. pressure in banning Huawei is a testament to a nation's right to choose its partners and determine its technological course. It embodies defiance against the puppeteering of major powers and stands up for independence, safeguarding economic relationships nurtured over years of trust and mutual respect. So what drives the U.S.'s obsession with Huawei? Is it genuine concern for national security, or is it an uncomfortable realization of a competitor threatening its technological hegemony? Could it be part of a broader strategy to contain China's influence and growth? The answer is complex, but it unveils a level of coercion that should concern not only South Africa, but also every nation valuing its autonomy. Imagine a world where a single power dictates the technological choices of other sovereign nations. What would this mean for innovation, competition, and the very principle of self-determination? Huawei's entry into Africa and its commitment to digitize the continent transcends technology. It is about opening doors, building bridges, and unlocking potential. It represents a global company recognizing an underserved market and filling a void left by Western powers. It envisions a world connected, not controlled. As Huawei scales back its ambitions in Europe and redirects its focus to more receptive markets, we must acknowledge the loss accompanying this decision. It is not merely about a company adjusting its plans. It is about a world missing an opportunity to embrace diverse technology and innovation. What about European nations succumbing to U.S. pressure? The UK and Italy's wavering stances paint a disconcerting picture of international relations, where trust is bartered for pressure and alliances are molded through coercion. As we contemplate these realities, let us not lose sight of South Africa's bold stance. It speaks of conviction, strength, and a refusal to yield to unjust demands. It embodies the ideals of BRICS and the vision for a world where choices are made by nations, not imposed upon them. In this new era of international politics and economic alliances, South Africa's decision serves as a guiding light for other countries seeking to assert their sovereignty. It is a lesson that alliances should be based on mutual respect and common interests, not threats and arm-twisting tactics. Now, let's pause and ask our audience, would you prefer a world where technological advancements are shaped by the interests of a single power, or one where nations have the freedom to choose their own path? Most of us would champion the latter, a world where innovation thrives, where nations make choices based on their interests, and where cooperation is built on trust rather than fear. As we continue to witness the unfolding drama between the U.S., Huawei, and the countries caught in this tug of war, let us remember that this is not just about technology or politics. It is about principles that define our world, principles of autonomy, integrity, and the right to choose our destiny. The U.S. relentless campaign against Huawei and its attempts to influence other nations' technological choices should serve as a wake-up call. It calls for vigilance, strength, and the courage to stand up for what is right. It reminds us that the world is richer when it is diverse, connected, and free from undue influence. Do you envision a world where technological advancements are determined by a single dominant power's interests, or do you prefer a world where nations have the freedom to choose their own paths in innovation and technology? Feel free to share your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section below. Don't forget to become a part of the Revel Discovery community by hitting that subscribe button to stay informed about the latest technological advancements and innovations. Remember, as we delve into the realm of technology, the possibilities are limitless and the future is filled with exciting discoveries. Keep exploring.